Have you ever noticed that your mind is almost never right here? I mean, it's either replaying some awkward conversation from last week or stress testing a meeting that's still a day away. It feels like we're constantly time traveling in our own heads. Well, there's this massive cultural movement built around a pretty simple sounding solution: just be present. But is the power of now really a path to better health? Is it just a bunch of hype, or for some people, could it actually be a hindrance? All right, let's really get into this.
And look, the National Institutes of Health that put the problem perfectly right here. Our attention gets totally hijacked, pulled into the past or the future. You know the feeling. We get so caught up in what was or what might be that we completely miss what is. And that's the core human challenge this whole being present idea is supposed to solve.
So what is this powerful idea, really? Well, at its heart is a practice with roots that go way, way back to ancient Buddhist meditation. But now it's become a term you hear everywhere.
And the clinical term for it is mindfulness. Now, the two key parts of this definition are focusing on the present and, this is the really crucial part, doing it without judgment. See, you're not trying to stop your thoughts or force yourself to feel calm. You're just noticing. But what in the world does that actually feel like?
This quote from Dr. Sona Demigian gives us the perfect analogy. Just picture it. Normally, when a negative thought like, "I'm totally going to fail at this," comes along, we jump right into the river and get swept away by it, right? Mindfulness is the skill of learning to just sit on the bank. You watch that thought float by. You see it, you acknowledge it, but you don't have to go with it. You're not the leaf, you're the observer on the bank.
Okay, I know this might sound a little abstract, but scientists have gotten incredibly interested in what this simple mental shift can actually do for our physical and mental health. So let's see how this ancient practice holds up under the microscope of modern science. And the results are pretty compelling, actually. Peer-reviewed studies have linked these mindfulness-based treatments to a whole host of real benefits. We're talking about measurable improvements in things like anxiety and depression, and even physical stuff like blood pressure. It's also been shown to help people cope with chronic pain and seriously improve their overall quality of life.
And this isn't some fringe science we're talking about. As Dr. Zev Shuman-Olivier from Harvard confirms right here, the evidence is so strong that these techniques are now being used in hospitals and clinics to help patients with serious long-term conditions. So the takeaway is, this isn't just a wellness trend, it has real clinical applications.
So let's recap. It's backed by science, it helps people. This should be a pretty uncontroversial topic, right? Oh, you'd be wrong. For a concept that's all about peace and calm, the idea of letting go and being present can provoke a surprisingly intense, even furious backlash.
And this criticism, it comes from two very different places. One is deeply psychological, really personal, and the other, well, it's more philosophical, and it comes within the very traditions that mindfulness actually grew out of. Just think about it for a second. Our entire sense of who we are, our I, it's built on our stories, our memories, our plans, our problems. So when a teaching comes along that asks you to let go of all that, it can feel less like liberation and more like an existential threat to the very thing we call me. This quote from a Reddit forum on Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, just illustrates that internal battle perfectly. The user puts it bluntly: the ego, that sense of self, it wants to survive. And when it hears a teaching that threatens its very existence, its defense mechanism is to scream, "This is all nonsense, it's BS." It creates this powerful, visceral resistance. All right, now for the other line of critique. This one comes from practitioners of traditional Buddhism, people who look at popular mindfulness teachers like Eckhart Tolle and basically say, hey, wait a minute, you're getting a key part of this wrong.
Okay, let's break this down because it's a really fascinating distinction. On the left, you've got the popular teaching. It says your thoughts and emotions aren't the real you, but there is a deeper true self, a silent, aware consciousness, or being. But on the right, traditional Buddhist philosophy goes a step further. It teaches something called anatta, or non-self. It says that even that feeling of consciousness, that awareness, is just another temporary process. It's not a permanent underlying you.
So the heart of the issue for these critics is the how. As this user on the Buddhism subreddit points out, these popular teachings can give you this big moment of inspiration, that aha, I get it now feeling, but they often lack a structured ethical path to make that change actually last. It's like having a great destination, but no map to get there. So, where does that leave us? On one side, we have a practice with proven health benefits, and on the other, we've got these serious psychological and philosophical critiques saying it's either threatening or incomplete. What's the real takeaway here? Let's be really clear, the critics are not wrong. When you strip mindfulness out of its traditional context, you can absolutely lose the detailed ethical framework and the step-by-step practices, the path, that were designed to create lasting change.
But at the same time, you don't have to solve a deep philosophical debate to get the health benefits. The simple, core techniques of just bringing your attention back to the present moment, well, science has shown us again and again that they are just plain good for you. And you can start right now. I mean it. The National Institutes of Health offers these simple, evidence-based exercises. You can take a few deep, structured breaths. You could decide to pay full attention to the taste and texture of your next meal, or just notice the sights and sounds on a short walk. You can even do a body scan, just noticing the sensations in your body without judging them. It's totally accessible to everyone.
And that really brings us to the central question, doesn't it? Is that feeling of inner peace a final destination you just arrive at one day, like flipping a switch? Or is it more like a muscle you strengthen, a path you walk every single day, one mindful step at a time? Definitely something to think about.